And I will introduce Serena Fantini, who comes from IFOA. IFOA is the training organization agency of the Italian Chambers of Commerce. And it works in different cities in Italy, runs international projects. And in any case, Serena will say something about their organization. And we invited them because the IFOA has been running a training program, which has been designed using the DigComp framework. And we were talking a few months ago about it. And they told me about this fact that they had a very different reaction to the offer that they set up. And so I thought it would be interesting, since there are many similar activities going on around Europe, very often funded by the European Social Fund or the Resilience and Recovery Funds, and targeting unemployed people. And so it was an interesting opportunity to hear more in detail by somebody who is directly involved in this kind of activities, their experience, how they use DigComp, and the reaction of the targets, the customers of this training offer. So Serena, the floor is to you. And as usual, we will do a half an hour, 40 minutes presentation, and then we have a session of questions and answers. Thank you everybody for coming, and Serena, up to you.
Thank you, Stefano. Good morning. I'm Serena Fantini. In IFOA, I coordinate training courses funded by specific projects of active labor market policies. Today, I will share with you some reflections about IFOA's experience in Digitize training program for unemployed people. Let me start with my PowerPoint. Okay. Okay. IFOA is the training and employment agency born from the Chambers of Trade will. Is a combination that allows us to offer growth paths, training, professionalization, and employment programs. We work both on national and international levels, driven by the desire of transferring useful knowledge to people, businesses, and territories. Our fields of activities are training for youth and unemployed people, training and consultancy for companies, employment services, European and international projects, technical assistance to public administrations. I think we can start talking about how Digitize was originally designed and DigComp used for that. Digitize is a project founded by the Emilia Romagna region within the Regional Operational Program FSE 2014-2020. Despite the fact that we are in the midst of the digital age, the majority of the current and future workforce believes that it does not have the digital skills required by the labor market. On the one hand, we see an increase in the demand for digital skills for workers. But on the other hand, we are aware of the gap between people's actual digital skills and those required by the labor market. It is necessary to remember that digital became a topic not only to technical professions, but is a transversal and key competence for lifelong learning. Let us also remember that the EU set the goal of digitally transforming the continent by 2030. By 2030, in fact, about the 80% of citizens aged from 16 to 74 are expected to have at least basic digital skills. At the Italian national level, the operational plan for the implementation of the national e-skills strategy describes a range of systemic actions and includes the measures addressing this issue funded by the National Resilience and Recovery Plan. In Italy, is called PNRR. The Emilia Romagna regional government points out that the training of human resources is necessary, but also one of the most complex challenges that lie ahead in order to increase and extend digitalization to all enterprises and supply chains. As part of the operational program of the European Social Fund Plus 2021-2027, the Emilia-Romagna regional government launched an initiative to improve access to employment through the development of the digital competence called digital skills for the employability. It is within this policy context that the training program by IFOA called Digitize, Digital Skills and Works, was born in response of the regional call for proposals based on the awareness that digital competence is one of the key competencies for lifelong learning and transversal labor market, and that working on these competencies can foster employability. The main objective was to provide training opportunities capable of matching the demand for digital competencies consistent with expectations, needs, and knowledge and skills in access of the participants, also taking into account personal, educational, training, and professional background. The training paths were constructed to allow the construction of customized and modular pathways, which favor a certain flexibility in entry and exit, thus improving the possibility of access to the labor market. The region's call explicitly required that the training courses proposals refer to the competencies areas set out in the European DigComp framework, and it is on this basis that the entire training activity was organized. This is the Digitize training offer. It is a total of 30 titles divided into 5 areas. The areas are information and data literacy, communication and collaboration, digital content creation, safety, problem solving. Some of these titles are, for example, virtual assistants, AE and big data, storytelling on social media, digital collaboration tools, video making, advanced cybersecurity, using software for project management. Some general information about these courses. They had a duration of 16 or 32 hours. They have been planned over a maximum of 4 weeks, and the lessons had a maximum duration, preferably of 4 hours when possible. We tried to plan these courses over a maximum of 4 weeks to reduce the risk of leaving the course in case the participant found work, for example. Delivery method either exclusively face-to-face or exclusively webinars with the presence of a tutor. Then we'll come back later to the training delivery approach. Free courses and possibility for the users to enroll multiple courses. Courses available from the 27th of March 2023 with the first edition of video making to the 29th of September 2023 with the first and only edition of use of software for project management. Okay, let's see now who were the unemployed trainees and which topics they mostly choose. The participants involved were unemployed men and women of all ages, of course above 16 years old, coming from any study and employment background, resident in the region Emilia Romagna. These users could be either enrolled in a specific regional active policy program called GOL. Here in Italy, GOL is a program, is a reform action under Italy's PNRR to upgrade active labor policy services. They can be also simple unemployed person, not enrolled in any program, as long as they are resident in the region. Their starting levels of digital autonomy were very different, although they were mostly basic. Before the course began, we administered a simple test to verify their level of knowledge, but it was a test that did not preclude their access to the course. Rather, it served us and the teacher to understand how the classroom was structured and to be able to adapt the customize the teaching as much as possible. Okay. This is a table where we can see the number of courses, the number of editions delivered, and the number of participants involved in these editions divided by the area of competence. So information and data literacy, communication and collaboration, digital content creation, safety, problem solving. Many of these participants attended at least 2 courses. I don't have the information, but I would say half of them. In total, Digitize started on 27 on March and ended in September, with a total of 47 editions delivered. Let's see now, among these 30 titles, the 6 courses that were most successful in terms of participants. We provided the titles of each course and their modules for your information, but we cannot really comment on each one of them. I choose, for example, storytelling, and then video making. Storytelling, as you can see, was a course of 16 hours. The contents were the importance of storytelling, social media for work, the unique value propositions, social media marketing, and the corporate point of view, benefits and risk of social media communication, online communication planning, and also video making of 32 hours, where the contents were project setup, creation of social accounts, creation of a channel profile, identification of a sector, selection of video topics and themes and communication style, how to film content for social media, how to edit videos, overview of video bases, checking available resources, video and audio creation and editing, and also animations. I think that these courses were so appreciated, probably because the participants recognize a real use in their daily lives, because they had to become, they had not to become experts in the topic, but also just to get an idea or to get a first approach that maybe would make them familiar with it. In other cases, I think that for young people, some titles had more appeal. For example, social media, video making, and also many of our users, I noticed that one of the first things they say is always, I can do anything with the PC, but I want to at least understand how it works and try to learn something that I need even in everyday life. Others realized that they were resistant to technology, but at the same time, they were aware that a minimum of digital literacy is now essential, even for those who do not work and also do not even look for a work. These, instead, are the 10 courses, the 10 titles that were eventually not delivered due to lack of the minimum number of eligible participants, 6. Managing complex searches, managing digital identity, interaction, digital sharing, and online identity, netiquette, digital collaboration tools, health risks induced by digital devices, responsible and conscious use of social media, regulatory aspects of the GDPR, choosing the right portal for my needs, digital tools for online selling and buying. Why these different results? We do not have any hard evidence of why Digitize customers selected or discarded our courses. We can nevertheless put forward a few hypotheses. Too long titles or not immediately understandable. For example, managing complex searches, digital and computer tools. Titles that seem aimed only at users from certain sectors, for certain sectors. For example, GDPR, the netiquette. Titles that do not immediately give an idea of the topic covered. For example, interaction, digital sharing, and online identity. We noticed, however, that often for certain courses, we have to explain well the difference between one and the other. For example, digital collaboration tools and digital communication tools, because rightly, for a person with a very basic level of digital literacy, they could seem the same. Well, the approach IFOA adopted to train these participants on diverse competencies covered by the courses. The delivery of the Digitize courses always involved a mix of frontal lessons, both in presence and in webinar mode, thanks to which the teacher was able to deliver in a clear and specific way the notions and knowledge to be acquired by the participants, individual exercises to reinforce and consolidate what had been learned during the frontal lessons, group exercises through which the participants solved didactic challenges by helping each other and collaborating in a sort of peer learning. In reality, these courses were mainly delivered in webinar mode to facilitate the full participation of learners by paying attention to the balance between live time and training time. In fact, many users were unemployed women with young children to manage or with special family needs who lacked a support network. The webinars allowed them to avoid traveling, facilitating their participation. We also provide PCs for those who did not have them. The teachers adapted the training lessons according to the learners' initial level and needs. This was essential to make the content as usable as possible for all learners, since most of the time the learners had a rather basic level of knowledge of the subject. The activity was developed using an active teaching methodology, which favored experiential learning to encourage personal and peer reflection on what was learned. Learning from experience was favored, placing the learning process at the center, and thus fostering the level of autonomy, an element that underpins the transition from one level to another in all areas of DigComp 2.2. This methodology enabled collaborative learning, fostered people's motivation, and made learning easy to take back to reality. For example, users often asked the teacher questions regarding digital doubts, problems they encountered in their daily lives. They often discuss with the teacher and with each other topics that affected them closely, such as the job search. They discussed, for example, what were the best channels and ways to search for it, and how to improve search tools and their presentations, thanks to the support of the teacher and the tutor. To support learning, the tutor was always very willing to provide participants with feedback on the progress of their level of autonomy and to discuss any difficulties or problems. Lastly, the tutor and the teacher always collaborated intensively to exchange among them useful information for the continuous calibration of the training course. During the course or at the end, they also assessed together with the learners which other digitized courses could further enhance their digital skills and autonomy. At the end of the course, participants were guided to use the Europass online CV and thus to add the acquired skills to it. The results in terms of course attendance are these. As mentioned before, the learners involved in the training were a total of 296, and those registered were a total of 453. As some of them attended multiple titles, both simultaneously and sequentially. I would say a half of them. The main reasons for dropping out or withdrawing from courses were personal and family commitments. A few people also found work during courses, even though we always tried to plan the shortest possible timetables so as to minimize this event. At the end of each course, we always administered a satisfaction questionnaire, which revealed very good user satisfaction, especially in terms of how well the course attended met their initial expectations, enrichment of their knowledge, acquisition of useful skills spendable in the company, teaching methods, sequence of topics covered, timing, timetables in which the activities were organized, relationship with teachers, feeling of being able to transfer the concept addressed to one's reality. At last, how Digitize the second cycle was redesigned based on the past results. Based on different uptake rates of the courses and the feedback gathered from those who attended them, IFOA adapted the new by the European Social Fund and by the Emilia Romagna region that will start with the first course on the 24th of January. The program will start with the first edition of how to manage and archive data, information and data literacy area of 40 hours. During the delivery of the training courses in the previous Digitize cycle, IFOA realized that the need to acquire and enhance digital skills by unemployed people was even stronger and more imperative than the initial expectations. Often, in fact, the actual level of digital skills of the person was lower than originally stated. So it was decided to concentrate the training offer by reproposing some courses from the previous catalog and to adapt their duration, level, and name in order to meet the real needs of the users involved to an even greater extent. In addition, new content has been introduced that will enhance basic digital skills that are immediately spendable in the labor market and appropriate to the person's aptitudes and ambitions. These are the 20 titles proposed by the new cycle of Digitize. Those highlighted are the titles. We tried to make more eye-catching and maybe easy to understand. Okay. I hope this sharing about Digitize has been interesting for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena. Before you leave the last slide, I just want to understand the courses in bold are...
In bold.
Yes. What are those courses? Because some of them are highlighted in bold.
In blue. In blue.
In blue, yes. Blue, 4, 14, 16, 20.
Yeah.
Is that why? Is there a reason for... Because they are the new courses or...
Are not new, but modified.
Okay.
Modified in the title, but contents are almost the same.
Okay. And I see that the duration of the courses has been extended a little bit systematically. So you had this feeling that it's needed to have a little bit longer courses.
Yes, because for some of them, now I have in mind, for example, in the other program, there was re-elaborating data. It was a course with Excel, Office 365. We noticed that 16 hours were maybe it was too short.
Mm-hmm.
And in this cycle, the same course is called managing, I think managing, how to manage and archive data.
Okay.
Yes, we changed in 40 hours. So from 16 to 40. And also for other titles, like social media, that was 16, we changed in 40.
Mm-hmm. And Serena, another general question that I was curious about. Can you say roughly, not the exact percentage, but how the gender distribution of the participants and also the age distribution? Because you mentioned at some point younger people tend to prefer certain courses. So overall, was it more the participants were like more in their 20s, 30? I don't know if you can say something about the gender distribution and the age distribution of the participants.
Yes, gender, women, most of all women, aged between 40, 35, 45 to 55, more or less. Also, young people, I noticed that appreciated some specific titles, just some specific titles. For example, video making. Video making has been really appreciated from by young people. Social media, yes, and maybe because the other titles, no, didn't have the appeal, the same appeal of video making and social media on young people. These two, maybe.
Okay. Thank you.
But yes, women between that age.
35 to 55, more or less.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Please, anyone has curiosities, questions to ask? Just switch on your microphone or camera and if nobody asks anything, I have another more general question. Since you as because of the nature of your organization, that you are very close to the business world, I'm always curious to understand the perception from the point of view of companies of the competencies which are addressed by DigComp, because we know that DigComp competencies are transversal digital skills. They are, I often call them soft digital skills. They're not highly technical. They're not specific to a job. And I was wondering if in your okay, the regional government asked you to develop this training offer following the DigComp approach, the DigComp view of digital competence. But I was wondering if in your interaction, in your relationship with companies, you get a confirmation that these kind of skills, competencies are needed or appreciated, are considered, I don't know, that it must. So people have to have them regardless of what they do eventually in a company. I was just curious if you can say something about this, because I don't know if you have had already the opportunity to measure the impact of this training on the participants. If you had the feeling that that it helped some people maybe to find more easily a job, or you have heard of some benefits stemming from this training that they went through. I know it's not an easy question, but I will.
I can speak for the province of Reggio Emilia, Modena, Parma, my area, the area that I know
better. Yeah.
Better, yeah. I think that my perception is that companies are always searching for more or less the same competencies since 10 years, in the last 10 years. I think that courses of 16 or 32 hours or 20 or 40 hours are maybe a bit short to really give to the participant new skills to use in a potential work or on the job. I think that is more useful for people that maybe have already level of medium level of digital literacy, and maybe want to improve some skills. In that case, I think that really have the possibility to find a job or maybe to be interesting for a company, or to have more appeal for a company. Okay. If a person has a different profile and is the first time that approach this kind of subjects, I think it's a bit difficult, honestly.
Okay, no, that's very important. So it's not so much an issue from what you're saying. It's not so much an issue of the, let's say, the type of skills or competence, but it's rather the depth, the level. What you're saying is that this kind of approach is useful to enrich somebody who has already a basic foundation level skills, and they can improve in some areas and become more skilled. But if somebody has to really develop a basic level of skills, these kind of courses are not enough. You need a longer training, probably. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, it makes sense. Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay. If nobody else has questions, we can finish a little bit earlier than expected. I take the opportunity because I saw recently IFOA is launching, I think in next week or in 2 weeks' time, a very interesting experience. It's a new TV base. It's like a series, a television series for families on digital competencies, and it will be broadcasted, I think, on, I don't know which channels, but I think public television channels or some channel, and it will last a few months. And there are these each program is like an hour and a half, and it's a mixture of like a TV series and but with a presenter, a speaker who will explain things with so it's going to try to bring the understanding of a number of issues of our digital life by representing it into the everyday life of a typical Italian family. And it's going to be interesting to see how many people will follow it and what will be the result. But I saw the advertisements for this recently, and I thought it might be an interesting experience. Yeah. Okay. So Serena, thank you very much for your presentation. As usual, we will publish the recording of this presentation and the presentation of the webinar, sorry, and the presentation itself online. And thank you very much to everyone. Just to remind you that on the 7th of February, we have the next Inspiring Experience webinar, which is going to be about the PICS platform, the French PICS platform, the assessment and learning platform developed by the French government, which is very interesting online environment for the development of digital competencies, based also on the DigComp, on the French variant of the DigComp framework. And so I hope to see you there again. And thank you very much, and have a nice afternoon and evening.
Thank you for your time.
See you soon.
And see you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.